guys, welcome back to another video. I know it's been a little while, but got a little busy with some things and couldn't find the time to film a video for you until now. But I wanted to hop on and talk about something that's rather interesting, and that is 10,000 miles in my E92 M3 in just about 4 months, maybe a little less than that. And I wanted to talk about the running costs, maintenance, etc., and what it's taken to keep this thing on the road for so many miles in such a short amount of time. Maybe you are curious about buying an E92 M3 and you really want to know the running costs, see if it's something that you can put into your budget. I know I was surfing the internet for ages looking for this information when I was on the hunt for mine. So now that I have some real first-hand experience with it, I figured I'd share what it's been like for me to own this car and put so many miles on it so quickly. So why don't we go for a nice little back roads drive on a nice Sunday, sun's out, and we'll discuss. To answer the question as to what is broken on this M3, since I've owned it and put this many miles on it, short answer is absolutely nothing. The car is sitting at 85,000 miles now. I bought it with 75,000 on September 19th. It is currently January 8th. And yeah, it has never skipped a beat. I drove it 2,200, 2,300 miles home from Texas when I bought it, and then pretty much have daily driven it, you know, up north for some fun roads, down to work and back. My commute is pretty hefty, so the miles add up quite quickly, and I've been super impressed with the reliability of it so far, knock on wood. And in terms of maintenance, it's been very negligible. Of course, oil changes come into factor, and then as well, I did spark plugs, and currently it's sitting on some Blizzak snow tires. So I'll run over the cost for that, just so you have an idea of what it was for me. So yeah, pretty much as soon as I got home from the original road trip when I bought the car, I wanted to do oil, of course. And fair warning, I don't do all of the maintenance myself. I did a lot of it in the past for my E36 M3, and I'm kind of over it. I'm totally all for, you know, paying a mechanic to take care of it. It's quite nice to not have to do it. Not really my thing, but so these will obviously include labor costs as well. Yeah, so the oil change, and then also I wanted to take care of spark plugs because I noticed in the maintenance history it seemed like none of the previous owners had done spark plugs, which is crazy. So oil change, spark plugs, and then ran into a bit of a problem with the drain bolt for the oil pan, which took a little bit of labor to get taken care of, but that cost me about $690. Of course, about 4,000 miles later, I was ready for another oil change, and luckily I went to my old place of work, BMW of PVD, and they were running a special, which is crazy to me. I still don't understand how it works, but it's $199 for 3 years of unlimited oil changes. So of course I signed up for that immediately. The one caveat is you have to wait for the car's like programmed oil interval to, you know, set off. It can't just be like if you want an oil change every 3,000 miles, you get one. So $199 for that, and that's 3 years of unlimited oil changes if the interval light ticks on. So realistically, I'll be paying for one in between out of pocket, but still it's going to save me a boatload of money, especially with this 10W60 oil. It's not cheap. And then snow tires. I very luckily had a friend who also has an E92 M3 that did not need his anymore, and he just gifted me some Blizzaks for free. So that saved me a boatload of money. But I did pay a friend to install them for me with his tire machine, and that was $60. Whereas if you were to go to a dealership, it's usually $50 to $100 per tire. So I saved a decent chunk of change there. And then some other random things that I did / got taken care of. The blower motor wiring recall was still open on this car. That was of course a no-cost solution to me. Any BMW dealership will, it'll get flagged in the system when you give them your key that it still needs to be done. And depending on which part of the wiring it is, it can be super quick or a little bit more time consuming, but still not bad at all. I think mine took about an hour and a half, 2 hours to get replaced, and now I don't have to worry about the car burning down, which is great. And then also, because I'm a big skier, I picked up some roof racks for my skis, which of course is not maintenance and nothing broke. It was just more of another expense that I had for the car, and that was $125 on Facebook Marketplace. Something like that brand new would probably cost you $500 to $700, so saving money left and right. Yes, I know the elephant in the room that I'm sure everyone is wondering is, are the rod bearings done? Have I done them? Has a previous owner done them? And the answer to that is most likely no, they have not been done. There is a strange, not really strange, but interesting invoice/RO on the Carfax, around 20,000 miles when the car had roughly 20,000 miles. It said maintenance was done to get the engine bolts replaced, which I've talked to a few techs about that and they didn't really know what that entailed. So I'm thinking maybe that could have been it, but I don't really want to take any chances. Eventually I will get around to doing them. It's not so much my ownership that worries me about the bearing spinning, because I'm always very, very on top of making sure the car is up to temp, doing all the proper run-in procedures every time I drive it before I get on it hard. But you never know with previous owners how they treated the car. So it's probably something I'll get taken care of at some point. Depending on where you go, that can cost between $2,000 and $3,000 around here. I've noticed that it can vary quite widely depending on what part of the country or world you're in. So yeah, for me personally, I'm probably expecting around $2,200. Not horrible. It's not the end of the world. It's just more of an annoyance, but it's far better than spinning a bearing and having to replace an S65, which is of course far more expensive than $2,200. So yeah, all in all, I'd say this car has been incredibly reliable. Really just oil changes and spark plugs since I've gotten it. I know that they can be a bit daunting for people that don't own one, or even for people that do own one, that they're always a little bit worried in the back of their head that something catastrophic could happen. But I really think that these are rock solid motors if you take care of them. I think the rod bearings is a bit blown out of proportion. It's the only thing people talk about on the forums. Oh, spinning your bearings. But realistically, when was the last time you personally met or encountered someone that spun the bearings in their S65? It's a lot less common than some might think. Of course, it's not something to be ignored, but it's something to consider. Probably one of the most respected or well-versed people that I know in the car industry, and especially with BMWs. He knows these cars through and through. Has about 140,000 miles on his E90 M3. 30,000 of them have been on the track, driven hard. He still has the original bearings in his car and refuses to replace them. He thinks there's absolutely no need for it if you use the car properly and don't abuse it when it's not up to temperature. So that's just some food for thought. Yeah, about I'd say $1,000 to keep this car on the road for 10,000 miles in 3.5 months. And I'd say it's worth it 100%. This car is so much fun, so rewarding to drive. And $1,000 spread out over 3.5-4 months is completely fine by me. So yeah, I think that's going to wrap up my video for today. If you guys have any questions about my ownership so far, feel free to leave them in the comments. I will be trying to stay consistent with my videos on here, so if you could leave a like or subscribe, that would be very much appreciated. I'll see you guys in the next one.